Robinson Show. We are back with Ryan Patrick Welsh, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Hey, guys.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate that.
Thanks for coming on, man. You're an actor in LA, originally from Detroit, correct?
Yeah, that's true. And actually, with Outpost in particular, I co-wrote and co-directed the film with Justin Giddings. He's another creator that was based out in LA.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't know you co-wrote and directed it as well. That's awesome because that's where I first came across you, and the trailer looks really cool. In your words, what's the synopsis?
So the last citizen is sent out into the farthest outpost in search of new habitable homes for humanity and in search of intelligent life. And he's sent alone with this android, and they develop this bond, and all of his values are sort of put to the test when they finally make a breakthrough in that research, and he's forced to choose,
So the
between.
citizens are. Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan.
Yes, please. Yeah.
The citizens
No, that's right.
are they sent to look for inhabitable places for humanity? Who are the
Yes,
citizens?
that is right.
Okay.
That is right. Citizens are like scientist soldiers, basically. They're genetically engineered humans that are sent off to these lonely outposts to do their research and try to find where's the next home for humanity. And he finally makes that breakthrough in his research, and maybe makes contact with something, and but making contact with that thing might cost him everything.
Whoa! And I also want to know is the backstory of how all the other citizens got wiped out? Is that in the movie as well? Like, it just sounds so cool.
Yeah, we have a really rich backstory that we had to fill out for this entire world. But
Yeah.
no, this is a taste. This one's a short film.
Okay.
We have a feature that was commissioned, and that's almost complete in terms of its first draft.
Cool.
And we have a lot of things that we'd like to do with the property and with the world in general, but we'll have to see kind of how the release goes. We're looking at in Q1 of next year,
Cool.
doing the public release. We've been doing film festivals for the past 6 months or so, and then we'll unleash it onto the world.
It's been doing well in the festivals, correct?
Yeah, it has. We've had a really good reception, and this is one of the things we discovered in the process of doing this. Actually, was that when we were going into it, we were like, let's make something that everybody likes. Everybody likes sci-fi. They like big, like this stuff. And then we realized that no, actually, not everybody likes sci-fi. It's like a super niche genre, and I think we were just too embedded in our own geekdom to like fully understand that, like, oh no, that's a super genre specific thing.
I don't know though. I think if it's done right though, you're gonna hit like the next Star Trek or the next Star Wars. Like,
No,
I think
you're
it
totally
can.
right.
It
You're totally
can,
right.
man.
But Star Trek is also, it's a unique sort of beast where you have a lot of diehard fans and you have a lot of people who maybe sort of poo-poo that whole thing. So
Yeah.
but anyway, so we did really well with the festival run, and feel really good about where we showcased and how we showcased. We won a few awards. We won this amazing like Cthulhu statue for some of the awards at one of the festivals.
That's awesome.
The statue itself is it's this incredible work of art, and it puts little Oscar statues to shame. Not in prestige, though. Let's be honest. It's a Cthulhu statue,
Yes.
but in design, it's totally cool.
That's really
Way
awesome.
better than an Oscar.
Were you gonna ask them something?
Well, no, I was just gonna say that I do find that to be true because with the science fiction thing, there are a lot of science fiction stories that you would think would appeal to a wide group of people, but I do know people who are like, oh, it's got an alien, it's got a robot, and they just write it off. Like, yeah, no, I'm not watching that.
Immediately.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. No, I would be all in. I'd be like, yeah, that's cool stuff. I want to see that.
Yeah.
It kind of seems
Well,
too,
you're
Ryan.
our audience.
Yeah, I do. I want to check it out. I
Fair
loved.
enough.
I love seeing the one tweet like, "Oh my God, this is an indie film. It looks amazing." I just love the fact that it looks like not only love story, but also like a badass action movie as well. Like it looks like it's got
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks. Yeah, uh, we hope that this isn't the end of the story of that world or that property. Anyway, it's a really big, grand proof of concept.
Cool.
And we've been working on a number of other things. Justin and we do a lot of writing in general, and have been commissioned to write several features. And so, as time goes on, hopefully we will be positioned in the coming years, and with the success of this film as well, that we can actually take this to somebody, or that this can find the right home.
Yeah.
And it is a little different. It's a big world. It's a big, it's epic. It has size, and that it's harder to find a home for that in an indie space. So
yeah.
We're still imagining around ways that we can do that, and what are some turns on it, that we can focus the story a little differently, so that maybe we can pull it off on a bigger story, but on a smaller sandbox, if that makes sense.
So from what you're saying, this is kind of what I'm getting, is that you and your buddy had decided you wanted to make this epic, like whether it was a film trilogy or something really big, and you've been working on it for years and you got it really fleshed out. And then like this movie, what is it, Outpost, you're kind of like, here's a little taste of it and we'll see if people like that, and then we can show them the rest of it. But there's also a possibility that people may never see the rest of what you've already created.
Yeah. So in terms of what we've already created, like that's actually a layered question. A lot of what we had wanted to do with this film as filmmakers was kind of make a statement of what we're capable of. The film that we had shot just prior to that was this really character-driven indie drama about a young deaf woman who has a surgery that will allow her to hear, and kind of the unforeseen ramifications that decision, how that plays out in her life. And we really love telling stories like that. And then but we're also really into stories that have a bigger backsplash, if that,
yeah.
and
I love that.
And we wanted to as a way to start, we wanted to give people a taste of, this is kind of how we might build something and how we might want to tell stories in this world. And that forced us to sort of build a world around the story we were telling, so that we just understood where everything was coming from. And but there's a lot of unpredictability in creative fields in general. So we're hopeful. We're really proud of the work that we did, and we have good things on the horizon. And that's a really long way of saying, like, yeah, there is a possibility that no one will that people won't hear the rest of the grand story that exists. But there are also a lot of different ways that could play out.
Yeah.
So we have, we've explored fleshing them out as graphic novels, or
that's what I was going to ask, if it was like headed toward that direction as well.
Yeah. So it's we're open to the different ways that the story could unfold. So likely, if the right people see it and it gets the right kind of attention and the right budget,
yes.
we could. It'll have a life as a film, as a feature. We have within the same world, not necessarily the same characters that are seen in the short, but within the same world, we have a pilot script as well for a continuous series.
Cool.
And then we have and then we've explored graphic novel stuff. So
yes.
We'll see. I don't know. We're always working on the next thing, and we try not to spend too much time, hoping for this particular thing to be the thing that breaks forward. So
that's cool. Yeah, to have other options. I wanted to ask you too, Ryan. you're the lead male. The lead female is also named Ryan. Does it ever get confusing in directing?
Yeah, for sure. No, so on set I was just Welsh.
Oh, I was
So,
wondering if
yeah.
they had like something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so they'd call, we'd refer to her as Ryan, and I was just called Welsh, and that's actually the way it is pretty often because she's the wife of the other director. So it gets particularly confusing for him because we work so closely all the time. So I'm very used to at this point my name on set just being Welsh.
That's cool. Yeah, I figured there was some way, or like N and N, because her name is two
Yeah.
N's, right? Like I was wondering, N squared,
And
N
double
squared,
N.
and double N. Yeah. And there's triple N
Yeah.
somewhere. Like
That's right. That's somewhere out there. There must be. Yeah. So we found workarounds. Primarily
Yeah.
just it made it feel a lot more like a sporting event for me. Just I had my name on the back
Get in there,
of the jersey or
Welsh.
something.
Yeah.
Being called Welsh all the time. It was a very sort of high school experience.
Yes,
Welsh,
I was just
what's
gonna
going on, man?
say, like in high school, all of our friends would call each other our last names. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's so. I guess that's that little part of me that never grew up. Maybe just gonna follow me around. But no, it was a blast to make. It was really stressful in terms of trying to do so much on a relatively small budget. But we got really lucky with the support around the film, both financially and with talent. We had our VFX guru is the guy who was one of the lead VFX artists on Prometheus and Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows and one of those other Chronicles of Narnia films or something. And he had just moved to Los Angeles when we were in pre-production from London, and we got a meeting with him, and we pitched all of our stuff, and we're really excited about it. And he's like, yeah, so you can't afford me. I'm way over your heads there. And we're like, yeah, of course. Yeah, we should have known. I'm sorry. And he goes, but I love the project, and I'll tell you what. We'll do this. You give me as much time as I need, and I'll give you the film that you want. And that's what it was. So we gave him a lot of time in post.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like
gave him
a big budget film, like from what the trailer looked.
Well,
at least.
that was, and what we realized, we learned a lot around that. I mean, we're still young filmmakers ourselves in terms of our, how we're developing our own craft within that. But to achieve that, you have to be aiming for quality literally at every level and at every stage in production.
Nice.
And for us, every corner that we cut, we feel it, and we can kind of see it. Hopefully we've masked it in areas as best we could, but we really made it a point that when we're going through this production process, that when we had a choice to make, that we were making
the right
them
ones.
With that kind of end result in mind, if that makes sense.
That does. When will the movie be out, Ryan?
So we're looking at the first quarter of next year. We haven't picked an exact release date yet. We're coordinating with a couple of other pieces, but sometime in the first 3 months of 2019.
Cool. Definitely looking forward to checking it out. Definitely. What did you start acting before you went to LA, Ryan? Did you act in Detroit?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I went to school for acting and grad school, and I was actually planning on just being a Shakespearean, like classical actor. That's really what I felt I really excelled in terms of theater and that type of thing. And right out of grad school, I had booked a couple of things in LA, and one of them was this ridiculous show. It was called Bite Me. It was a zombie comedy about these
I saw
gamers
that.
who so and that's where I met Justin, my co-writer and co-director, and out of that we started collaborating on a pilot, and then we started writing a lot, and then we started getting paid to write more, and then we started making our own films, and before I knew it, acting was something that I really loved doing and still love doing. But you know, a focus has shifted quite a bit toward more of the behind the camera stuff. You know, it's closer to the fingertips. You need a lot of people to say yes to you as an actor. You know, from right out the gate, you need people say yes, come to this audition, and yes, come to this callback, and yes, come to this screen test, and yes, we're going to pay you to do this, and then say yes to you every day on set, and not hire somebody else. You know, and as a writer, anyway, at least with the creation, the impulse to create, that's all at your fingertips. You know, you can start in your pajamas, you know, with a cup of coffee at your computer. You know what I mean? Like, you don't. Nobody needs to say yes to you to just do the act of creating it.
Yes.
You need somebody to say yes eventually at some point, and you know, and
sign off on it. Yeah,
so
exactly. You can get it started. You can get it rolling on your own. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like too. I thought of Patrick Stewart when you said Shakespearean, because that's how he started, just Shakespearean actor, and that's all he was doing. And
he's
look at him now,
prolific for sure.
Yes. Ryan, I wanted to ask too. What was your play, Last of the Wild Buffalo? What was that about?
Oh my God, that's so cool! Thank you for asking about that. I was not expecting to talk about it. I wrote this. I my first full length play. I just completed another draft on anyway. It's called Last of the Wild Buffalo, and it just had it was a part of a staged reading series at the Road Theater in Los Angeles, and it's looking like it'll be featured in the Summer Playwrights Festival this summer at that same theater company, and it's about these two brothers who are home for the holidays and sharing their childhood bedroom once again, and all the kind of injuries and mistakes of their past come out to haunt them.
That's what I thought it was, like kind of a dark comedy about like brothers, but like from the title it didn't. It once I read the synopsis, I was like, sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's the type of show that, at least with my theater background anyway, it's the type of show that I really liked being a part of and liked acting in, and you know, it has a lot of influences. I can say pretty clearly anyway that my favorite playwrights, definitely I can feel their influence in this play as well. And there's guys like Sam Shepard or John Patrick Shanley, and where it's really about examining the family in hopefully really honest ways, not cruel, but just honest. You know, families, we carry injuries in very, I think, profound ways sometimes, and how that affects us. Injuries that we sustain as kids, injuries to relationships and connections, and then how that plays out in future relationships, and how that plays out with the people that never let you really be different than what they understood you to be as a kid. And all of that comes out in this play. You know, how we really see how the stuff that these guys experienced when they were younger and the things they did to each other, how that has created just shockwaves of emotional destruction with primarily like the women in their lives. And anyway, I don't want to give away too much.
That's cool though.
I'm making it sound very dramatic, but it is a dark comedy. It's definitely,
that's great.
There's a comedic lens to it. Yeah.
Cool. And is it? You said it's going to be playing this. It's coming up soon in the spring.
Right now it's looking right now like it's going to be at the Summer Playwrights Festival at the Road Theater this coming summer.
Awesome.
So that would be really cool. And then I'm hoping to get a production of it set up in Chicago. Being a little closer to the Midwest, it feels like a good spot to do that. When it comes to writing plays anyway, I really wanted to take it back home, you know.
That's what I was wondering.
You know, write stories about, you know, families in Michigan, or, you know, kind of the types of families that I knew growing up, and kind of focus on that. What's that old saying, write what you know?
Yes.
I guess
Yes.
that's what I'm.
I want to ask you too. You mentioned Bite Me. Was that a comedy? It was a zombie
Oh my God, it was
series, right?
it was a ridiculous comedy. It was the dumbest comedy, and I mean dumb. And well, I realize I say this around comedy. If I give something the description of dumb, it means I love it
Yes.
as a comedy. Yeah, it was the dumbest comedy. It was. Yeah, I mean, it was about these three, by all, for all intents and purposes, these three kind of loser, mid-20 gamers. They had failed to grow up, very arrested development in that respect, and they spend all their time gaming together, and their lives are kind of stalled out. And then the zombie apocalypse hits, and those three idiots are uniquely prepared because of their
They played a lot of
their
zombie
years
games.
Yeah,
of gaming.
they knew what was coming.
A lot of
And
Left
because
4
of their
Dead.
years
And,
of gaming.
Yeah.
That's right. They're uniquely prepared to deal with the situation at hand.
Last of Us. Yeah.
So
That's cool.
it was fun. Yeah, that was a really good time. We had a lot of fun with that.
Is that a web series? Because I went to try to find it, but it didn't. I think I tried going to the YouTube, but it wasn't up.
Yeah, so there's a company called Machinima that is mainly known for like video game tutorials and things like that, and they partnered with Lionsgate, and the first two seasons were formatted as web formatted shows, and there was talk of expanding in season 3, but I think they got cold feet about dropping cash on another season of zombie comedy.
Zombie.
Because that was zombie. That's right.
Zombie.
So they so it lived as a web series for a while, and then I don't know, because I've noticed the same thing. It had they took the episodes in their original sort of posting on YouTube or whatever, and then combined them all into one giant video, so you can see all of season 1 in one. Like hour, 15-minute video, and then season 2 is a couple hours or something. So it's they're out there somewhere. I think they're on Hulu too, maybe.
Okay.
I haven't checked in a long time, so I'm not sure.
Awesome. And Ryan, besides what we talked about, do you have any other upcoming projects that you could tell us about?
Yeah, we're so Justin and I are working on this script right now for a production company out in LA that is looking really cool. That would bring us hopefully if all comes together, that would bring us to Louisville to kind of work around this old urban legend, this urban myth of the they call it the Popelik monster. So we were commissioned to create a story kind of around that, and we've been developing that for a little bit. And second draft is coming along really well, and I don't know. We got our fingers crossed. It's a really good production company, and their last film, Rust Creek, looks fantastic. And so yeah, I mean we've got that, and I'm working on my second play right now, and I'm writing the first draft of that, and
Awesome.
and I think that's probably about where we are right now.
Sounds
So
like
a
we're
lot
on
of
the right
just,
track.
Keep
Sounds like
keeping
we're on
irons
the right
in
track.
fire.
Yeah. Ryan, thank you so much. We have to cut this off, but where can everybody find you?
Yeah, you can. I'm on Twitter at Ryan Welsh 25, and I'm on Facebook as well. I'm terrible at the social media stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you. So I as I was saying that, I was forgetting what my Twitter handle was. So I guess the best place is at Ryan Welsh 25 on Twitter. That's where I'm at.
Awesome. Thank you so much for talking to us, dude.
All right, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye, Ryan.